Stay right there. What are you waiting for? Kill him! Kill them both! No, wait a minute. Is it money you're after? I'll give you as much as you want.
May the saints forgive you, because I won't.
Hey boys, what's up?
Not much. How you doing, Jen?
I'm really well, thank you. So we've got Organized Meat and of course Monty, and I will let you both introduce yourself. I won't attempt to do it, but just thank you both for coming on and for doing this.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm Organized Meat. It's at Bazillion Plus on Twitter. I post a lot of cats on there, so I'm aiming to become the number one account for retweeting awesome cats. But other than that, yeah, I've been on some podcasts: Rare Candy, Heavy Board, Getting Lit, Drunk on Movies, Tales from the Mall. So check those out. I guess we'll post the links in the description. But other than that, no other plugs.
Yeah, well, Organized Meat. I cannot stress enough. He's a great follow. He's a great buddy. We go back, and it's so great to finally talk to you. But I'm Montgomery Carlo on Twitter. I have a podcast called Nice. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. I'm out of sight. What's going on, guys?
Both the boys are out of sight, and definitely give them a follow on Twitter. And Monty and I have our series that will be perhaps longer than we even initially anticipated. So so everybody can check that out. And I definitely like both. Obviously, Monty and I go back a little bit, but like Organized Meat has a great Twitter feed. He's a great mutual, and can't speak highly enough of him. And great weed taste as well, because we are veterans, all three veterans of weed chat.
Yes.
Do you want to kind of introduce where we're going with and what film we're doing, and then just sort of like we'll lay it out?
Well, we're doing Heavy Metal, which is a film that I didn't find out until recently that it was released on August 7th, 1981. I was born 3 weeks later, August 28th, 1981. So we sort of entered the world around the same time. And then I first encountered this film through my uncle, who is he was a movie nerd. So when I was in 6th grade, I was over at his house, and he had this VHS copy, and I saw John Candy's name on it. He did a voice. And I'm like, oh, I love the Ghostbusters at the time. And my uncle's like, yeah, it's an awesome movie. So I watched it, and I thought it was awesome. Didn't really think much of it later until like the Lochnar itself. It reappeared in a different phase in my life in high school, where it was just it was a good film to smoke weed and watch, right? And then didn't think much about it until later on, maybe 10-15 years later. I saw it was some sort of something for Heavy Metal 2000, and I watched that and didn't really care for it, so I need to get the taste of that out of my mouth. So I watched the original Heavy Metal and just fell in love with it again, and now it's reappeared again in my life. It's just a movie I've always loved every time I've watched it, but it never really was one of those ones that I constantly rewatched. It just always kind of showed up, and every time I watch it, I love it.
It has a perennial flavor for sure. Monty, so was this the first time you watched it?
Yeah, this is the first time I watched it. It's so good. I had no idea this was out there. It's so good. I'm such a sucker for anthology stuff, and all the stories, and the Lochnar, the rectangle from 2001, just following and ruining the lives of everyone that it touches. It's so sick.
I think that's the reason I just loved the movie when I first saw it, because I was used to seeing animation only in Disney movies or something like that. It was always for like kids movies. And I wasn't really aware, maybe aside from like Cool World or something like that, which wasn't even like wholly animated, but like there was no like animation for adults. So this was like the one movie that I knew that, you know, I wasn't into anime or anything like that back then. It was like the early 90s. So like this was like the one that I was like, oh wow, I had no idea this thing existed. And it's just, yeah, really creative and like captured me at that age.
That's really cool here, because I'm honestly the same, but I really love anime as well. But I think the Cool World reference is really a good one, because I think that kind of encapsulates even though that came obviously a little later in the 90s, I think it encapsulates a lot of the vibe.
Yeah, no, definitely there has that same like very focused on females a lot, very sexual. There's that noir vibe, at least in one of the stories, the first story in Heavy Metal, that's like kind of has that noir vibe of Cool World a little bit. And just like the male interaction with the females is always very similar.
That's probably a good place for us to start talking about the actual film. And so the first part of the anthology that you're referencing is called Harry Canyon, and it is based off a Mobius story. It got a very Fifth Element vibe, and supposedly Fifth Element is based on a Mobius story, but it's not based on the same story. So there is something really interesting here, and it is very noir, which I admit is not particularly my genre. But I know both of you have a little more, you're more comfortable with that flavor.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of why I liked it, because I had no idea until I just was researching it for this show that it was based on like older comics. I had no idea. I just thought it was some movie that they made in the 80s, right? So yeah, that really intrigued me. And yeah, Mobius's name was coming up in like a few of the stories that like he wrote some of those. So, but overall, just like, yeah, that blend between like sci-fi and noir, making it's almost like cyberpunk in a way, a little bit. Yeah, it gives off that vibe. And also just like the cab driver character. It's just like, I mean, you really want to root for the guy. Like, he's awesome.
The busty redhead with the heart of gold.
Yeah.
It's what's so cool about this movie is that, and I feel like this is kind of like a dying genre or whatever, that's, our part of Twitter or whatever is keeping alive the legacy of, is kind of like, Heavy Metal was originally like a pulp magazine with like short stories and stuff. And so this really does like imbibe like flash fiction short story, like all like weave together with a singular plot. And like I could, this could easily have been like just one of our friends like submissions to Apocalypse Confidential or something. It's so cool, like the dirty, disgusting noir with like the do androids dream of electric sheep? What's his name again? Oh no,
Philip K. Dick.
Yes, excuse me. Like Philip K. Dick's like contributions to like pulp magazines and stuff. Like, it's so cool.
It has that classic sci-fi character, maybe not Asimov, but I think Philip K. Dick, or maybe even early Gibson, and maybe some of his short stories. And obviously we have to shout out, in referencing that, Don Franks, who played Hooky in Johnny Mnemonic as the bartender. If you remember him, he is a voice in several of the shorts. So there is there's a little crossover there.
Oh, I had no idea. But yeah, no, I think, yeah, this first story is just great because also, like, at the very end, like he's got that cool thing in his back seat that like can vaporize people or something like that.
So sick.
Yeah. So he like, if someone tries to rob him, or like, he can just like hit the button and like they get vaporized. So he gets the money in the end of that story just by vaporizing the woman that he saved, the damsel in distress. And also I just love how he just the sex scene between them was great, because he was just like, oh boy, was she enjoying it. Yeah. It's just like there's a lot of flavor in that Harry Canyon character.
Absolutely. I think he's a great character, and I actually felt like, I thought not the sex scene, but I thought of Monty because I was like, this is the everyman character. This is the everyman character that Monty always talks about, like the dude who's like kind of thrust into the middle of an adventure, someone who probably hasn't fulfilled their full potential before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think he just has to like deal with everything. He's like, he doesn't make enough money. He's like stuck like working a job, and like I one of my favorite like motifs in this section is the glove box that just like has like a live grenade and like a whole bunch of guns and knives. Like he's so sick of this shit. He does it like once a week. And the fatigue with like, yeah, this is my life, and then like this like hot woman shows up like that's on the run. And okay, what I love about this entire movie is that this is like prolific perverts. These are like artistic perverts. And like painting like with their canvas, like with their own cum. It's so incredible how like horny this is.
It's very horny. It was honestly, I was a little, I'm not a prude, but I was a little, even though I've seen it before, I was a little taken aback by how horny it was, especially because I saw it as a little kid too. But I don't think I picked up on.
Yeah, 6 years old is crazy.
Well, you know, I just pretty much anything I wanted to watch was like, it was a go. Like I saw Akira like that young, and yeah, I mean, I saw lots of crazy shit. My parents
It's
were
so cool that at 6 years old you were like, no, I want to see the one with the tits. Shout out to you.
I think it was the cover. The cover really captured me. It's pulp, and I think that's a
Ragnarok.
Good. Exactly.
Yeah, one of the things I loved in the Harry Canyon story is just like, you could tell, like, I mean, he's so pissed off. He's just still like complaining about stuff that, you know, I guess people would complain about nowadays. Like, it's like, you know, the illegal aliens, but in this case, it's like different sort of alien, right? And like, that's the problem. And also he's driving a cab where everyone else has like the flying cars. Like it's this futuristic city, and he's just left behind, like still a cab driver picking up, you know, scumbags on the street. And, you know, he just like can't get ahead, where like there's this other like part of society that's just like doing great and doesn't notice anything that's going on the ground. So, but he's just stuck on that, you know, four-wheeled taxi all day. So
the UN building has become a dump. That was a great little tidbit.
That was a great one. No, I agree. There is something socioeconomic to be said, and I love that you picked that up about the alien thing, because I was like, that is actually so topical. That is like that's like perfectly topical. Like we won't get political, but I just think that there is something interesting about that critique from 1981 in New York, and we're like sort of witnessing the increase and the results of that, and some of these more later neoliberal policies.
I agree.
Yeah, the one alien when he's at the police precinct is like Puerto Rican or something. Like, I don't have my wallet. It's so funny.
And the interesting like hookers at the police station, and like
shout out to him.
You know, and we live in the OnlyFans era, so you know those are kind of like the girls you don't see anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, well, no. So does anyone have anything left about Harry Canyon, or shall we move forward?
I don't have anything left.
Monty?
No, yeah. Part 2. Let's keep it moving. Yeah.
So Den Adams. This is the John Candy voicing a 17-year-old boy who becomes a crazy rock god with big muscles and sleeps with a lot of women.
This is my favorite of them, because it's an isekai of like a horny nothing guy who just becomes like roid rage huge and just like gets irrationally horny and like angry when like his women get taken away. I love this one.
Yeah, I just love how, so it's a boy, and he finds the Lochnar, and then he becomes this like rock god. But it's still the little boy's like voice in his head. So he's got all these like horny desires, and it's just sort of like this like, oh shucks, like
gee willikers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's that sort of voice in his head, and John Candy's voice is so perfect for it.
Yeah, it really is. It reminded me, it was kind of like Stranger Things, but not so self-aware. It was very like, I'm a D&D kid. We play on Friday nights, whatever. And these are my real internal thoughts. And I'm getting to play the characters. So I think Isekai was a perfect horny encapsulation of who that was.
Yeah, now especially there's the scene where he's about to have sex with the woman that he rescued, and then the guys come in trying to kill him, like a bunch of men, and it's just like his internal monologue is like, oh, I don't know who these guys are, but they sure came in at the wrong time. It's just very like a Dennis the Menace type of voice. Yeah,
in anguish over blue balls. It's
yeah. So I love that contrast.
Yeah, I did too. And I really liked this story. I wrote down Willow because I felt like it had a sort of vibe with the evil queen, even though she's obviously way hotter than the Willow Queen. And but yeah, I mean, I think that there is something metaphysically interesting. Like, I won't go hard on that, but I do want to point out that a lot of the female characters do have red hair. So that is interesting from a metaphysical perspective. Yeah, it's very like a Scarlet Woman or Babylon Mother, and I just think that there are other elements like the green orb, obviously too, and so there were. And if you look at the list, I mean, I'm not noticing. I'm just saying that there. If you look at the list, there are people who may or may not know about Kabbalah or Theosophy, and like the various. I think that was very popular in the 70s, right? So yeah, I think there were definitely people who knew, and there's a little bit of that flavor, I think, throughout even though the directors changed, they're the line directors, but I think there's a metaphysical that runs throughout a current, you could say.
Well, I mean, this is all of the anthology pieces in this movie are like just culture jamming of like niche underground culture, of like illustrations, of like short stories, like this is like punk magazine, like brought to life, and like there's absolutely a cult in here. Like it's caked with it, just like how it's caked with like the what is it, the swords and spells genre.
Yes.
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
This is swords and sorcery. Absolutely. You could even say it is space and sorcery. I think it plays with both of the genre conventions of those. It mixes it, and I think it does it in an interesting way. Well said, Monty.
Yeah, no, there were a couple stories in here that reminded me of Conan the Barbarian and stuff like that, like very distinctly. Yes.
Okay, so shall we go on if anyone has any more to say about Den Adepts? Or we move on?
We'll move on.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. And nobody, don't be shy. Like, you just jump in. It's okay. I'll take I'll shut up. Monty knows just to bully me to be quiet. Okay, so Captain Stern.
I mean, this is one of my favorite ones with Captain Stern, just because he's just like he's just like an ignoramus, but it's like so bold and confident, and he's just like accused of like tons of accounts of murder and rape and moving violation. It's just like it's one of the most like humorous stories, I think, in the film, and and just like the orb getting found by the guy who's going to testify in his favor, who he's paid off, just in the orb, the Lochnar just making that guy turn against him. It's just a really comical scene that's hard to describe, but it is very funny. It's very funny.
Yeah, so Dan Levy was the voice for Captain Stern, which I thought was interesting because he's like, sort of a weird Canadian icon a little bit, and definitely part of that John Candy crew initially. But yeah, I really love this one too. I think it's a really good one. I did like that reference to like they had like a kindergarten like sex ring, I guess they called
Yeah,
it.
the preschool prostitution.
Pedophile ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's also very topical. So I think it's so
Yes.
crazy that we're seeing like all this stuff, and then we're watching a movie from 1981 and they're talking about all of it.
Yeah. In Stern, even when they mention after the 37 counts of rape, like if you they just go to his face and he's got like this twinkle in his eye. It's just like something that yeah, I mean back then it's sort of the same thing now where it's like rape and then eventually you get to the preschool prostitution charges, right? It starts with the rape accusation, ends with the preschool prostitution. So yeah.
Well, to even make it more topical, it's like he's like making the smirks of like I'm gonna get away with this, like when someone stabs a baby in the forehead. Yeah, like even that's like this smug arrogance. I find this was so funny because it's almost like even like design wise, character design, like Venture Brothers. Like this is very like something that like this is the biggest like laugh out loud one in the whole, like just the facial expressions. And yeah, I think it's hilarious.
You know, that was a good observation because there is something very like Cartoon Network irony bros about this one and revival noir style or revival pulp. Yeah, there is something a little pulpy about it with his chin, and you know he's got the Giga Chad chin and like the smirk and the Superman outfit. There's something really interesting about this one now that I think of it. But I didn't when I maybe was watching it. It was definitely the most laugh out loud.
I mean, when I was sort of wondering if American Dad was like modeled by, have you seen American Dad?
Yeah,
I'm somewhat familiar. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like just because like the main character in that Stan, it just like he looks like, and also sort of acts like in that like pompous like attitude. Yeah. Like so when I first saw Stern, now I'm like, oh yeah, he really like looks like that, acts like that. So that sort of reminded me of like that model.
Absolutely. I think this was a lot more influential than because I think it was all those kids that became like producers later on in the later 90s, maybe early 2000s. And there's a lot of people who had very storied careers who got their start on this film or doing, a part of the anthology. So I do think that it was much more influential than perhaps the larger public knows.
Yeah.
And great soundtrack, obviously. We didn't even get into that, but maybe we'll talk about it later. But like just star-studded, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Soundtrack.
At least for the time. Yeah.
Yeah, for the time. It's like very of the time of the moment, but names that are still recognizable, even to like a Zoomer audience.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Journey, Black Sabbath. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Captain Stern, are we ready to go to the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. This was the captain who's in the B-52. The Lochnar brings the zombies, we'll call them, back to life, the crew back to life, and then the guy jumps out of the plane and he discovers, it's very Night of the Living Dead, but space punk.
Yeah, no, this was like a cool story. I mean, it's one of the few that like actually relates back to like something we know in this world, like World War II, because everything else sort of like takes place in a somewhat different world. But yeah, I think this is the one that is kind of cool as the story is. It's probably my least favorite one in the movie, just because I don't know.
It feels very out of place.
It's not as otherworldly. I think the fact that it actually is from like a world like we can relate to, like we know about World War II, it happened here, that it just doesn't make it as magical. And also I'm just not like huge into zombies.
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge zombie person, but yeah, no, it was good. It was short. So, I mean, it did a good job like transitioning from Stern to the next one, but it's still probably my least favorite one. Though it's good, just not as good as the others.
I think that's really fair, because it's probably my least favorite also, but I think that what you said that I thought was interesting was the concept about the worlds, because the worlds are slightly different in each one, but there's clearly, it's like parallel dimensions that are all interconnected, interrelated. But maybe we all have zombie fatigue. I don't know. Monty, what do you think? Zombie fatigue?
I like zombies, like for the record, but I don't know. I just think this one's completely out of place. Like the setting is like very off. It kind of like was Whiplash, because I expected, I don't know, when I saw like the wings being clipped and stuff like that, I was just like stressed out. And like the examining all of like the dead bodies, it felt like I understand it's like, this is like the high strangeness one. This is like the I don't know. It really helped me to go and think of this as like, yeah, this is like a magazine with contributors. And so like, you know, these are just a collection of prompts that got submitted. And this is just the best of like the horror one. But yeah, it was very out of place. I don't even really remember it, but yeah, it was short. So how mad can you be?
Yeah, I didn't really remember it until I was trying to compile the notes for the episode today. And I realized like I had seen it, but I didn't really, it didn't have any long lasting gravitas.
I think just for me, it was like, it's a little bit of zombie fatigue, and also a little bit of just, it just seemed like kind of a mini horror story that I've seen before. Like all the other stories in here, I've never seen before. Like it was like they were much more creative, and I just think like, the zombie pilots, it's just.
Uh-oh, he dropped. But it does happen if he's using the browser, so it's totally okay.
Yeah, that's all right. He'll be back in a second.
Yeah, no problem at all.
No, yeah, this movie rocks. It's so good. I like watching it twice in 24 hours. It's that earlier we were talking about Cool World as an example of like similar vein. Like Ralph Bakshi absolutely loves this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like even down to like the animation, the way the characters move. Like it's so fluid. It's so pulp noir, where like everything is like captured. Like only like a pervert who submits to like these weird magazines, these like nickel magazines for free, is going to describe the way that the tits swing, like the physics of the boob swinging.
Mm-hmm.
Like these types of guys. And like the budget for this movie was $10 million. And it really is so impressive that like this like weird little collective magazine was able to go and scrounge $10 million together to put this out. Like it's so impressive.
Yeah, for sure. It was really impressive. And also, let me just say that Ivan Reitman, or Reitman, if you're, he produced it, and he also produced a lot of the Cronenberg stuff, National Lampoon, and Rabies, the famous Canadian horror film from 1977. So, yeah, I think that it has there's like this kind of body horror undertone. It's not that the series itself is body horror, but it's fetishistic in its presentation of the human form.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of body horror like elements to it.
Another thing that I was thinking about, like, because I was looking it up on Wikipedia, just like getting more familiar with like the production and all. And this is a Canadian movie.
Yeah.
And I'm always like so impressed because like comic books are a uniquely like American medium in the way that like, they are today. But it's so cool when like Canadians like are doing it like almost better than us. Like that's so cool.
I was surprised. Like, I mean, I guess I knew it was Canadian when I first watched it, because I knew John Candy was Canadian, but it never really occurred to me like until I was watching it this time. It's just like, wow, Canadians made this.
It's jarring.
Yeah, I know. And also it's just like there's, heavy metal. Like, isn't that like an American thing? Like, is it? What do the Canadians know about heavy metal? Like, that's too mean for them. And then also just considering that like John Candy, like all these like comedians, like all the Second City guys in Toronto were involved with it. and Harold Ramis, like a lot of the Ghostbusters crew, and it's just like, yeah, it's very weird. This is like what they did kind of before they got big doing other movies.
Instead of starting
sort of
bands, they were starting improv troops. Yeah.
Yeah. Which were good back then. That is when improv used to be good. Yes.
They had more license, I think, to move freely, and they could, as we've mentioned, the film is very horny, and they're not constrained. They're not constrained by the metaphorical longhouse so much. Like they didn't really have that concept, right? So they could be free to speak how they wanted.
Yeah.
It's this obviously feels like a hey, if it makes money, it makes money. But it's like a capstone for like the magazine. Like this is like an accomplishment.
I will just point out that Toronto. I'm not just being a 416. Like yes, I am from Toronto, but more than that, there is a history of comic books and sort of like this. I don't want to call it, it's not indie filmmaking, because it's not really indie if you understand how Canadian cinema is made. There's a lot of like Arts Council grants and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a national cinema more than an underground cinema, but it has this flavor that was very edgy. All of it, like even the Cronenberg stuff, it's all, or Scanners, or all of that has that same vibe. There's like this sort of psychedelic, I hesitate to call it MK Ultra, but there is there's something a little bit like that, and that's in McGill, right? So that's in Montreal. A lot of these guys are from Montreal, just pointing out. And so I think there's something psychedelic and interesting about a lot of Canadian film of the time.
I mean, especially I noticed that with the Cronenberg films, like The Brood, and before Scanners, he made some student film. I forget what it was called, but I saw it a while ago. And it's just a very weird, like for like the late 70s, early 80s. It was a little edgy. Yeah. Like now that I think of it, it's just not how I picture Canadian cinema today, I guess.
I mean, is there Canadian cinema of today? I would hesitate to, they make, I'm not trying to like down it, but the reality is like the 90s was probably the last part of that heyday. And then it switched into just sci-fi films, like Sci-Fi Channel, Space Channel, whatever, into those kind of films. And so it lost its edginess. It lost its kind of what made it a little avant-garde or a little different than American, like even indie or mainstream films. It lost all the sort of uniqueness. So I think that plays a big role in like why national cinemas go in and out of favor with audiences, because I think once they lose like that character, it doesn't even have to be a national character, but just that thing that makes them watchable for a world audience. And when they lose that, I think that people aren't interested, because you can just watch 10 of the same thing anywhere.
Yeah, I mean it's I guess the last time I remember noticing a Canadian director was Adam McGoyan, like that was like the 90s when he was doing The Sweet Hereafter and stuff like that. And after that, I can't think of any director that, I mean, there may be one or two that are Canadian, but they're known as like, this Canadian director. It's just, there's no defining quality to Canadian cinema that I can think of anymore, at least now.
That's 100% true. And like and even I think 2020 proved to be sort of a death knell. Well, we'll see what happens, but I think even the filming in Vancouver, the filming in Toronto, I think that's largely done now. And obviously people aren't making high budget films they are making super high budget films, but they're not making that kind of mid-range film anymore. That would have been attractive for American directors to go be like, okay, we're going to Vancouver for 4 months or whatever. Unless it's like a Sci-Fi Channel film.
Well, it's like that's like actually like more preferable. I really do think that like exactly what you were saying. It's like either you make like a bazillion-dollar movie, or you like just shit out like a lot of like really small features instead. I think it's like, because like the standard is the bazillion, so many like production companies have this like this economic anxiety of having to like fill like butts and seats to recoup their investment. And then like when you hire writers to go and like revisit these old IPs, the creative freedom is completely out the window because it needs to like be up to the standards of like the weird freaks who go on Letterboxd and call things like homophobic.
Yeah.
And so I really think that like creative freedom is something that's like so difficult to really like get across now. And some stuff is coming back, but a lot of that's legacy.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball, but there was a sweet spot there in like the late 80s, like early 90s of just really anything goes, like balls to the walls creativity that I don't know like how much it's like the government or just like malaise. I don't know. I feel like the 2010s kind of were like a creative dark age.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a lot to do with just the studios realizing, no, we're a business.
Yeah.
Like we have to make money, so we have to make the most money possible while spending the least amount. That's just how it works. And they realized that why would they, take a chance on this script that's original, that was written by, this one person, and take a chance on making that when they know that, oh, well, this, Deadpool has made this much money. It's got this many fans. We know that if all those fans see the movie, we'll make this much money, and they can just do their calculations based on that. And they don't really have to think. They could put a movie together based on the rubric that the letterbox dorks or the test screen audience is, based on how they feel, what they think should
China
be
compliant.
Yep. And then, yeah, again, they could sell this all over the world, like, because these stories, like, other people know about like Marvel comics. Like it's not just the United States. It's not, it goes beyond that. So yeah, I think it's just basically about money now. And there's no one willing to like take pride in like, well, I want to make money, but I also want to put out good art at the same time, which I think that used to go on when, Weinstein was in charge. Not that that's a good thing, but I mean, the last, in the 90s, that was kind of like it pretty much, like a little, some in the early 2000s, but yeah, by 2010, it's dead.
This is actually a really interesting point, just to refer to what both of you are saying about the kind of, I don't want to call it death now, because everything dies and then obviously comes back, right? In some ways. So, but I do think that there is something about what you're saying about 2010, and I would say it's 2012 because Dread, I really liked that film. Cool. And
that was good.
So
hey, exceptions are exceptional. Come on.
Pardon? Sorry, Monty, say that
Exceptions are exceptional.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's something interesting about that. Like, that is, we can actually map where the ending, or at least where there's like a steep creative decline. And so I would say that I would rather favor, like what Monty said, like increased output at a smaller scale, and then you sort of have your niche categories of things, and the pressure to make so much money isn't as high, because if you're only spending, say 5 million USD, yeah, you don't have to have like the massive blockbuster audience. But I think the China compliance thing is both funny, but it's also true. Like you want that money, you want that new middle class Chinese money, like really badly. And so, and Marvel is the way to do that, or crazy war movies. Also, the Chinese do like that.
Yeah.
Martin knows this.
No, I mean, it's all about tested products. They want something that's already been tested and proven. That's why it's just, superhero movies, sequels, or remakes. And not that, like, I haven't seen the Beetlejuice movie, but I hear it's good. And it might be, but it's just, Tim Burton's much more likely to get a Beetlejuice sequel and have the studio be excited about it than some original script he did, maybe. Which is, I mean, I think why he does like Alice in Wonderland or Willy Wonka. Like, he's been doing that stuff recently. Like, goes back, he'll do a Wednesday. Why? Because people, he already knows that they like his Addams Family stuff. It's just tested products, and that's why we get a lot of the same stuff. But I think there has been a little bit kind of a backlash and a resurgence of some studios, or the maybe smaller studios, putting out films that are good. Like it's coming back a little bit, I think. So that is good to see, because I think a lot of people have noticed that it's just remakes and sequels and superhero movies.
So, Monty, are you bullish on the current state of cinema or where it's going?
Yeah, I think it's coming back. It's like I just saw The Substance, and like I thought that was phenomenal. It's the thing is that like film fans kind of make like a lot of like hoo-ha about like how controversial things actually are. And like I think movies are like going back in like the right direction. It's just like what Meat was saying. It really is like, once these like rubber stamped like greenlit directors are like who make the weird shit are gone, who's gonna like pick up the mantle? Like Yorgos Lanthimos can't make 10 movies a year. You know what I mean?
There's are a lot of good directors out there. Like, I mean, it's not as many as there used to be, but I think they are coming back. Like Yorgos, and also like Craig S. Zoller, still making movies. There's a lot of good up and coming directors, I think, that are kind of pushing back against this like lack of creativity in like most mainstream movies.
Patriots in control.
Yes.
Well, I think that's a good place to ask you both, is that, do you think that movies that are made in the contemporary time can be anything but reactionary to the literary longhouse that has existed for the last, like, we'll say 8 to 10 years? Or can it come into something new where it's totally its own, where it's like it doesn't need to be dialectical or discursive and referring to the metatextual or like political overworld?
I think that the like pulp offshoots, like the one of one movies, are like harder and harder to come by. Those personally are my favorite. Like, I think half the reason why people like Ryan Gosling is because he like is in like Drive, not Drive 2. Like, these are the nice guys, not Nice Guys 2. Like, these are kind of like these are like complete project movies or whatever. I think that that's coming harder and harder to come by. But I think the problem with I've said this before, so apologies for repeating, but things are for women or for everyone, not just men. So everything that you could go and like make things that are like dudes rock, it's gonna the hens are gonna like longhouse peck it to death.
Mm-hmm.
And so it will be reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's also tough because like the dude experience is not like like a Ken from the Barbie movies, like Mojo Dojo. You know what I mean? Like, I just have like a really big problem with like how masculinity is defined right now in regards to like it's not, I don't know, like the whole toxic thing, but then like just being genuine. I don't know.
I mean, no, I get what you're saying, and I like that point. I mean, yeah, men can't have nice things right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
if we get a movie that we like because like, oh, that's a cool guy doing guy things, it's considered like, it's just considered sexist. Like, why aren't we considering women? Why and we just can't enjoy that. We can't, it had to like. I guess they maybe tried that Roadhouse remake. They try to kind of like remake these movies that, in like the original Roadhouse, that's like a guy's movie. Mm-hmm. And this one, they tried to make a guy's movie, but I don't know. Still, I don't know. I didn't really like it too much. It just like came across as, I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. There was something about it that just, it wasn't, it was still more feminized. I mean, even though they had like Conor McGregor and like Ryan Gosling in there, it managed just to like be a little weaker than it was. It's just, so we can't have like those types of movies anymore.
Yeah, I think that that's really fair, and I agree with you both. And it's hard not to be black-pilled, but I am excited because I feel like there is there is a lot of content. Like there are cool films being made. There's still a lot of like interesting Japanese kind of films being made, action cinema, and they're kind of like going back to the roots, and they may not be, they're definitely made for dudes. Like they're definitely bro movies, but they may feature women characters. So that also is interesting about heavy metal, is that even though it does obviously have masculine characters, the ending does feature a woman, and but it's really a woman of the male gaze. Like it's a woman that is made for men to watch. It's not a woman that is women should project themselves into. But of course, they probably could.
I mean, I think that female character is great. I mean, I think she's like a strong character. She's, you know, willing to like sacrifice herself to help people. And that's, I mean, I think that's a strong female character. It's just the fact that she's appears sexy, right? That, you know, she's got, you know, great tits and ass, great body, everything. That's what people would object to nowadays. It's like, oh, why can't she just look like the average woman? And it's like, well, no, can't men appreciate the body and also like how cool she is, and like women can also appreciate that? But no, like women will focus on, I mean, you know, they'll focus on just, you know, sexism, misogyny. Oh, men only like this because she's hot. Like sort of thing.
That doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt. No, it doesn't hurt. But I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know. It's what we like. The shoe is on the other foot, and it's some hot guy, and women are fawning over it. It's supposed to be like, you know, men are just supposed to be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's like what women like. I think that's how, like, I don't know. I think that's how we react. I don't think we really give a shit. We just know, like, oh yeah, that's like how it is. Like, we don't complain about it. Whereas there's a community out there that will complain if a strong woman who is avenging the death of an entire like village, you know, is just looking too hot. Yeah. Like she's got to be fat, or you got to have to at least know that she's like lesbian, maybe.
Yeah,
she's not straight. She would never fuck any of the dudes that are into her.
No, that's 100% true. I was even thinking of like all the discourse online, not to reference Twitter, but since we're all three on it, there's always the discussions of the video game characters and customization and what that means. And people tend to also take that customization, we'll call it an ethos, and project it into cinema, exactly like what Organized is saying, where they will want their exact identities to be replicated, but also in like this broader, maybe you could say even a pan sort of a pan gender, pan identity way. They want everything incorporated into one person who has to be accessible to everyone, but never men. Never for us.
Bro, there's zero reason why there should be a slider on a build a character menu that has vitiligo and top surgery scars. Like, what the fuck happened? Gamers are in trouble.
Hey, man, hey, like, hey, some people find that hot, okay?
That is true. That is true. Hold on.
You know, some people really want vitiligo. Like that's, you know, they're you know.
I retract my statements. I've been out freaked.
Yeah, I was thinking that exact like sort of broader discussion is like, this is the thing, is like dudes are the gamers. Like I know girls game. I'm not saying girls don't game, but I
not like guys.
Not like guys, and guys have like been the foundation for that industry for like 50 years. So
it's 80% dudes probably.
Yeah, totally cut them out as like a market share and like as a base that you don't have to pander to us. We're so easy. We're like the generation who grew up playing like Tomb Raider and like God of War. Like we're cool with everybody, but you know, like when you start doing that shit, I think customization is probably was a bad idea. I'm anti, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, it leads into all just way too many areas that everyone's going to be upset with.
Yeah, just be confident in your writing. Be confident in like having a character that you feel has both at least an appeal to play. It doesn't have to have like mass appeal as a mascot, but I guess that is a pressure. That is
Mhm.
such a pressure to be the icon of the moment, or the or the flagship property for gaming companies now, because they're all broke kind of. Well, they put so much into a single IP, and then and then if it goes bust, then they're in deep shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
you mentioned Tomb Raider, and like Laura Croft was, I mean, she was supposed to be made for like, girls to look up to, right? Like guys found her hot, so they played the game, but it was supposed to be like girls look up to her. Now, girls aren't supposed to look up to that type of woman. They're supposed to look up to like, the non-ideal, right? Like, I mean, it used to just be like you create something that's ideal, maybe something that everyone wants to achieve but can't be, like kind of a standard. And now, like, you can't have those standards. It has to be like what everyone actually is. Like, the vitiligo people have to be represented. Like the people with gluten allergies have to be represented in a video game or something, right? I mean, that's what we're coming to.
Yeah, there is an orcification, I think people have used even that word before, so if I'm stealing it, I apologize. But I do think that's a good way to describe it. And I think that there is a dysgenic property to a lot of the modern media. But just to return to the film, I think that this actually, even though yes, the breasts and the ass and all of it, and the women are beautiful, but it is very exaggerative, but it's not dysgenic. It has that, because at least parts of the anthology were rotoscoped as well, so it is important to like note that, just because I think it plays a role in the movements, like how the animation sometimes looks unnatural. But I think actually if you saw a person moving in that way, that is something that you would see. I don't know, Monty, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, just I think the whole like build a character thing is like so much of like this movie. It's like, yeah, like the big buff like soldiers, and like the women characters like being like super busty and everything. It's like, I don't know. I think it's like crazy that like, oh, we have to get rid of that because guys like it. It's
Mhm.
like, damn, like I don't know.
It's too
It's
fashion.
very it's Yeah, it's very cool to see like things need to be like the male gaze like does exist and is a market. Like, why is
Mhm.
it so hard to like give like guys like art, like eye candy? Like like this is cool because it's like both sides of the imagination. I mean, in one of the, I know we're like super out of order right now, but in one of the other shorts, the robot is trying to marry the redheaded busty woman
So
that they
beautiful,
abducted.
so dangerous.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and she said that she wants a Jewish wedding. So a Jewish busty redhead is like, that's like wish fulfillment. Like guess what? You're putting the fan in fantasy.
Yeah, this is fanfic. This is
Yeah.
fanfic. This is kind of I hesitate to call it Jewish fanfic, but if again, the most positive of ways, just like Marvel,
Hey, the
right?
Goyim got it going on. You don't have to make
Yeah,
excuses.
yeah. So I think it is kind of like a D&D nerdy um person of that religious persuasion, and yeah, it's a kind of idealization of their fantasy, and there's nothing wrong with that, to be honest. And it makes, and it has appeal to me, and I think it has appeal to all of us. So I think that there's something really interesting in what you're just saying, Monty. And I love the end one specifically because I wrote down fashion and photography as
Mhm.
per our other conversation about that, because I felt like that they actually did rotoscope a model putting on the clothes very in that slow motion kind of way. So, and then they rotoscoped over it. So I thought, and other people have noted that especially the last one, was the most human appearing of all the sort of characters or the arcs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that That makes a lot of sense if they use rotoscoping. I didn't realize that was really like that popular in the 80s. But again, it's like just the way that the characters move in all of these is so impressive. It's so fluid, and it really like you forget it's a cartoon, and like that's like the beauty of animation is that it like sucks you in.
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with a lot of like animation. I'm just sort of like dipping my toe into anime recently. So what is rotoscope?
So okay, so I'm not an expert, so it'll be my own Jen's explanation of it. But so
Okay.
it's basically filming with a special lens or a special I think it's actually a camera that they used to use, and then they would animate over the celluloid. So
Oh, okay.
they kind of like the color it, and they also, that Keanu movie used it as well with Winona Ryder. I can't remember, which is also a Philip K. Dick movie. So A Scanner Darkly.
Oh, scan.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
yes. All right, yeah.
So basically that's it. And then so you can kind of add, like, organize, like you're in our WeChat, well, not my WeChat, but Monty's WeChat, and you understand that there's kind of an anime physics, like a kind of a physics that only can exist in this animated world, like just like the film. So I think that it's a way to add in to that, but using the kind of material film as like a way to introduce that kind of magical realist element, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right, yeah. So it kind of blends realism with something that's not real to kind of create like an uncanny vision.
Yes, yes, there
Okay.
is something uncanny valley about rotoscoping. 100%.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. And yeah, I did enjoy that aspect of like this animation. Yeah. Cause I'm not like someone who's like proficient in like critiquing a lot of different types of animation yet. So yeah, I just, need to be clarified in some terms.
No, that's totally okay. And this is just the three weebs together today.
Yeah, we're all friends here.
Yeah.
So we did talk about the Tarna one, the last one, and we can still obviously discuss. There's probably a few more things to discuss, but we can definitely go back and do So Beautiful and So Dangerous, which Monty referenced, because I thought this was actually one of the most interesting in terms of story.
Mm-hmm.
With the redhead and who works at the Pentagon, and it's something very now, especially with this whole disclosure movement on Twitter, which seems very glowy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, so this story was about Dr. Anorak, I think, who was like, had all this information on I guess whether aliens were causing these mutations on Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have that right? Okay. And so he was going to the Pentagon to disclose what he had, and like once he said like, oh yeah, don't worry, this is not caused by aliens at all, like everyone at the Pentagon was like, oh thank God. Like that's like just like it was this obvious, like if you watch it, this taking, they just took him at his word, like, oh well, thank God that you said that's not true, then obviously it's not true. And then some, like at that moment, some aliens like appear overhead of the Pentagon, and Dr. Anorak catches sight of an orb of the green Lochnar that is in a redheaded secretary's pendant that she wears on her chest, or like a necklace. It's either a necklace or a pendant, but he catches sight of that, and then he just starts to pretty much rape her on the table in front of everyone in the Pentagon. And then the aliens like suck them up into their spaceship, and they land in the spaceship. The guy is all like, his body parts are mangled, so they have to, I guess, repair him. So they flush him down the chute. And the redhead, though, is fully intact. And as you guys were saying, the John Candy voiced robot, he's like, okay, we're gonna have sex. So and he fucks her. So yeah, that's that story.
Yeah, they have the two coworkers going like, it's always the robot. They always just want to have sex immediately. It's like, what? It's like, it's so funny.
Yeah, is that so? That is also the story with the alien pilot Zeke, and I forget the other guy's name, right? But they're like the mutant pilots, and yeah. So I guess the robot's having sex with the redhead, gets out one of like some sort of, forget what they call it, plutonium nirod or something like that.
Yeah, they're huffing bath salts.
Yeah, but it's cocaine or bath salts, or yeah. And he just like lays like just mounds of this stuff out on the floor, and they're mutants, so they have these weird trunks like for noses, and they just snort up a ton of this shit and crash their spaceship into another spaceship or something, and then everyone dies. And this is like, it's up there with the Captain Stern story for being one of the funniest. Yeah.
That was honestly a really great synopsis of that short, and I think it's interesting that they did position sort of the weirdest ones by far, like the most absurdist. They did put them in space, so I think there might actually be something to that.
Yeah, there's an element of. Have you ever seen the British series Red Dwarf?
I've seen a little bit of it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like this sort of thing reminds me of like Red Dwarf. That's like kind of what I went to in my mind. Like, oh yeah, just like, robots having sex with women, like, and just, people stranded in a spaceship in space. Yeah, just weird, like doing weird drugs in space. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just think it's again like how forward thinking. All of the sex jokes about like women like needing like a robot, like a device to get off, was like, it's how like what kind of weed were they smoking when they were making this that can help them see into the future? That's like how this feels. It's like they have the bong of destiny from Tenacious D. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean it was a glimpse into the future. I mean guys need robots too, apparently now, with like fleshlights or whatever. There's
so true.
They're making stuff for dudes too. But like that reference that the robot had, he was like I think the woman was like, I don't know, I just feel like a little guilty, and the robot was like, women always feel guilty when they get satisfied by mechanical objects or something like that. And
yeah.
Well,
where did that come from?
Yeah, I this was a really funny one and so weird again, but I do think that it is just worth noting that the red hair, even though she's a different character in the different shorts that she's in, I think that she kind of is the same character at the same time, or maybe she's like the same essence and she's playing three different roles, and then the culmination of that role is in the final anthology, which is Tarna. So I do think that like she dies in the crash, but then she's kind of reforged, reborn as this very, even though she's very sexual, she's not sexual. She's like meant to sort of take our gaze, whereas the other redhead characters, they're in their desire. So I think that's just interesting to know, just from like my perspective of what I usually talk about.
She's the muse of the Lochnar. She always appears when it's around.
The beast and the Babylon, the dragon and the woman. Yeah,
a little anglerfish bulb.
Yes, you could say that.
And there's just something always like, I mean, redheads just, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say it's like a coincidence, but it's just like, yeah, I mean, redheads are always like very attractive, exotic. Like there's something different when you see like an attractive woman and she's just got like, brown or blonde hair or something. And then when you see like an attractive redhead, there's something like kind of exotic about that.
It feels like God's smiling at you.
Yeah, there's something
incredible.
It's very unique. It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
you just don't see it like as often.
I found a 4-leaf clover.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm really glad that you're on here, Monty, to give me so much content. I haven't laughed on a recording for a long time. Anyway, no, it's great. I love it. So I think I'll just say to start off, we'll do Tarn at the end. But I think, yeah, I love that you said that there is something captivating about the redhead. I think there's obviously metaphysical, and then I think that it's interesting that she has white hair, like she's kind of lost her desire or maybe her personal desire, so she can then take on this role which is not typical for women per se. Like she becomes the warrior. She doesn't. There is no consort character. The only consort character is the bird that she rides to say, to kill the evil king. And this one reminds me the most of Conan, even though, or maybe say Red Sonja.
Yeah, definitely. I was reminded of Conan too. Yeah.
So I was a little fuzzy on this. So the main character of the final segment, the battle warrior, is that the same girl from when the orb like visited and was like speaking the tales to her? Does she like grow up to be like the warrior that defeats it?
In my interpretation, like there could be some sort of like circular like reincarnation sort of thing going on there, but it seems like this girl represented everything that the Lochnar hated, right? She was good and the Lochnar was evil, and that's why the Lochnar tried to kill her but did not succeed, because at the end, I guess that same dragon that Tarna had came and like picked her up. So it's like she's like the next. So Tarna was that force of good, and so is this girl. They could be the same person, yeah. But I mean, I don't know if it was explicitly said. I mean, I guess you could infer it, but
well, regardless, it's sick. Like this is like the most like action-packed section of it. Like it's a great like finale.
Yeah, I love the finale. I love like the evil mutant characters too.
Yeah,
they reminded me very much also of like of He-Man, the He-Man cartoons.
Green Skeletor was the bad guy too.
Yeah, it was, it was totally Skeletor. And yeah, no, I love that. And also I love like this one like tugged at my heartstrings because of the bird. Like, oh, I loved her bird, and like when he was like being tortured, or like when he was caught in the net and screaming, and then like when he was like shot and being cut by I was like, oh, this poor, like I loved the bird she rode around on. Yeah,
he tries so hard when flying away. I felt so bad for him.
And the sounds of him screaming, I was just like, oh, it was very painful. This was like, even though it's just like the most fantastical, like just otherworldly story, it was the one that like really like hit me emotionally. Like, yeah. And also the scene you were mentioning, Jen, I think about she's getting dressed. That scene, it slows down. It's at an insane pace. Like it's just, I was like, are they just gonna, how long are they gonna do this? It's like a 5-minute scene where she's just slowly like getting dressed, like putting on like her bikini basically, like, and slowly, or in her gloves and then her boots, and just these slow movements, like in the camera focusing on like different parts of her body, and it was just so much slower than anything in the rest of the movie, like, because it's a pretty fast-paced movie.
Yeah,
they're moving from story to story to story, and everything happens like at lightning speed. Yeah. And this one, they just want to spend 5 minutes like just admiring this woman getting dressed. And that was great. That was great.
I totally agree, and I even wrote down fashion photography, because obviously,
definitely,
he always, whenever I work with him, this is a theme that comes up, is this idea of the gaze, and like where it's positioned, and what it should mean for the viewer. It's like breaking the fourth wall, really.
Yeah, I think there's something like in the way that she's slowly dressing, and we're supposed to be so focused on it. It's just it reveals a sense of focus, like a meditative quality about her. Like she's in tune with the universe and she knows what she wants to do. Like the slow, methodical way that she dresses, it reveals a lot about her character. Like more like, and they didn't really do this with any other character in any of the other stories.
Well, yeah,
so that's what makes it stand out for me.
What really spoke to me, so the thing is, at least from my perspective, I don't know if you guys like feel the same, but it's almost like she's so sexualized to the point where like you get it already, you're not even like paying attention to like the like sexualization of her. So when she's like getting changed in like that this really extended sequence, I was looking at it almost the same as if like, you know, like in like Schwarzenegger or something, like applying his tactical vests and stuff. Like I wasn't like it's not like I was like having a nosebleed or something.
Yeah.
I just think it's
she doesn't feel shame. She's not like, oh, people are looking at me. That's the difference between the red-haired characters and her, I think.
She's personified.
She's not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's not self-conscious.
That's
the
word.
Yeah, the way the redhead knows who she is. Like it's this great, it's an awesome female character. Yeah, that I mean, I think like men and women, like it appeals to everyone. Like she just appeals to everyone. Yeah.
And it is interesting to note that the Lochnar is green, and I know I mentioned this at the beginning, but the green, that kind of emerald color, is probably in reference to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, both the 11th century grimoire, which is really short. Anyone can go read that Internet Archive. But then there's also like a much later 18th century version. But the really green is representative of the will, like the kind of the 0 point. So in my opinion, that's exactly what you said. She's not self-conscious, and she also knows her own will, and she's also kind of in tune with the will of the universe, or maybe her will is the will of the universe.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that about the color green, because this is like also the first time where, so I think at the beginning of the story, the volcano explodes, right, and it produces a bunch of green lava, right, because it's from the Lochnar. And that's what changes these villagers to become beasts and attack another village and kill them. And so, but the blood, like, so she decapitates a bunch of a bunch of people. Like, yeah, she just like, it's a beheading. Like, she just beheads everyone. Like, that's how people die. And so they're green, and also their blood is green. This is like the first time like that sort of green like imagery has been spread to like something other than just the orb. It's like the lava, it's the color of the people themselves. They're green, and their blood is also green, and it's also the final story. So I think it's a great, powerful ending that really ties everything together.
Yeah, I love the bar sequence. I think I wrote down barbed wire. And I just felt like that, you know, that could have easily been incorporated into that whole film of 1995, Pam Anderson. So I don't know. I love this one. I felt like like this for me, I didn't even need it to be longer, but this was the whole film for me. This last one in particular.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also just like, yeah, I've seen barbed wire. That a great comparison. I mean, this was back when like just female heroes in animated stories or comics, like they had a bikini on at all times. You know, they were pretty much fighting in a bikini, like, and they looked hot. And like she just comes into this bar like in her like bikini and sits down, and like a couple of green thugs start harassing her, and she beheads them. It's great. It's great. I think it's just there's something in that for everyone.
I agree with you, and it's unfortunate that that crowd, the discourse crowd, cannot accept even these older properties. Like they're always seen as somehow innately flawed, or perhaps they are projected to encapsulate contemporary ideas of the every person, the sort of omni-gender person. So but I agree with you. I think this is a one that anyone could watch and they would get a lot out of it. And I don't even think it is particularly sexual. I just think she has her sensuality, and she's right. She, like what you said, she's not self-conscious about it. So it's part of her, but it's not who she is fundamentally.
Yeah, and I also thought of a Never-Ending Story when I was watching this because of like the giant bird that they that she was flying around on. And it's just like that kind of reminded me of like that. And it's like everyone loved Never-Ending Story, even though it was like a guy that was the character. Like girls liked it too. So it just seemed like the opposite thing. Like this is something like that was just for everyone. Yeah, great story. I love this one.
I think it's great. After just recently finding out about it, it's like really just like a triumph of like the most wacky, ambitious short stories crammed together. This is like comic book guy god tier, like stoner hood classic. I don't know. I'm disappointed that I'm only just now finding out about it, but I think it's weirdly prescient and really just like so much fun. I think like an 8.4.
Well, so I'll go with my score first. It's probably a 9 out of 10. I think it's a movie that, like, I mean, pretty much anyone can watch and get some enjoyment out of it. There's something there for everyone, even if you're not like a sci-fi fan or an anime fan or like a fan of fantasy. And I'm like, look, to be honest, I'm dipping my toe into anime. I like some fantasy stuff. I'm getting more into some sci-fi stuff. I haven't really explored a lot of those genres, but like this is a movie that has like stuck with me from when I was like 11, 12 years old to now. It's always been reappearing in my life, and I love it every single time. So I mean, considering how much I've changed over the years, and this movie is still like one of the things I like can come back to and say that I like really enjoy it every single time I watch it. I mean, that says something.
Oh no! Wow, that was the snaps go off. That was great.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it. I am a weeb. I admit it. Obviously, Monty broke the ice, so we all like on that part of Twitter. We can all say it with pride now. Say it with our full chest, I guess.
I'm proud, baby.
So
I'm in the chat. I'm learning. I'm progressing. I'm getting into it.
Weeb chat grow strong.
Yeah. No, it's something I need to get more into. At least, yeah.
I agree with you. I think it's accessible. It's kind of like American anime. It's very American, but it has like you could watch this as an introduction. I think I would give it an 8.7 because I'll just go between the two of you, like do kind of an average, and I like that. And I think this is a great. I think everyone can watch this. I think this, obviously, if you like sword and sorcery, if you like that kind of space punk genre, this would be great. But I think you're right. You don't have to like any of that. You can just be, like I told Monty, I said, watch it with a girl. Because I knew that if you could watch it with a girl, they wouldn't be offended. It's like sort of vintage property that's cult and it's cool and it's not offensive, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. The third phase of my life that it came back to me for, I actually did watch it with I did watch it with a girl, and like, yeah, she liked it. Like I think everyone will like this film if they watch it. It's something. There's something for everyone in it, and I mean, in the soundtrack too. Man, it's so good.
Oh my god,
it's so good.
It's so good. Like when I was watching it, it reminds me a lot of like Robot Circus, which is like no dialogue. It's like, but it has like this like blew that soundtrack out of the fucking water. It's like, oh man, having like Black Sabbath in there, like every needle drop was cherry.
And also like, but it wasn't like heavy metal. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, I mean, Donald Fagen from Steely Dan and like Don Felder from the Eagles and I mean Nazareth, like
Cheap
I mean
Trick.
the heavy, like it's just the heavy metal. Like I think one of the Don Felder did a song called Heavy Metal on there, and it was just like I don't know, one of the guys from the Eagles doing the heavy metal. Like no, it's not heavy metal. Like it's not. I was expecting, I think when I watched it as a kid, like I was expecting, oh, it's gonna be like, you know, Iron Maiden or Megadeth, you know, and like it wasn't. It's just like kind of not very offensive heavy metal, but it's great songs like Journey with Open Arms. I mean that song's classic. It's like great on there. And then Donald Fagen from Steely Dan, like it's just, yeah, it's not heavy metal in that way. And that's kind of what I love about it, because like at that time in 81 and maybe just in Canada, Sammy Hagar and Nazareth were considered heavy metal. Like
I was not alive then, so I do not know what was considered heavy metal then. But I will say Canada has produced some decent artists over the decades, and but I actually think that was really fair. This is just like the soundtrack is unbelievable. I think in terms of like the production budget and just the names, like to get all big names. It's this, you know, that's not super common, especially on like a smaller animated film. I don't know how they sold everybody, because now you would get like a bunch of artists that are just, you know, Spotify people. But no, I think there's something really interesting about the soundtrack and how it works together. And I like that you said it's not heavy metal, and it's not. There's a little synth, there's a little glam rock. It's like it's much more mainstream, a lot more radio friendly. And the original Pulp magazine, it is quite sexual. It is quite risque, or maybe a little transgressive. And so I think they definitely made this with a mainstream audience in mind, but I think that they did a good job in maintaining like that kind of underground comic culture.
Yeah. No, they did. Like the soundtrack, it's really good. I enjoy all the songs, especially Black Sabbath, Dio Black Sabbath. Yeah, Ronnie James Dio Black Sabbath, Mob Rules. It's such a great song on there. I did enjoy the Nazareth song. Blue Oyster Cult was great. Sammy Hagar, heavy metal. Like it's a really good soundtrack. Very dated, but also really good. Like the right kind of dated. Like it was right before a lot of the glam bands got going in the 80s, but sort of in between some of the like 70s, like Black Sabbath, like Ozzy Black Sabbath influenced bands. So like, yeah, for me, like that soundtrack is perfect. It's great. And I was just very surprised, like Don Felder from the Eagles, like solo work. I mean, I know Glenn Frey, Eagles era. I know Don Henley, Eagles era, but it's just like Don Felder, I guess, didn't get enough recognition, because like the songs he does for that are great.
I like to think of films like this and their soundtracks as like, if they're good, as period, rather than it's not dated, it's period, because period really refers to that moment in space and time where it captures that feeling, and then it can give it to you when you revisit those properties like outside of that time. So I think that I wrote that down, is just that it's a period film, and it draws on bakshi, it draws on all the pulp comics, vampirella, which some people know I'm quite fond of myself, and the Frank Franzetta stuff, and just like all the sort of sci-fi fantasy art. But there's our space punk elements. It's like a great soundtrack, a great film. And I think that I would like to see a revival of the American animated feature.
Yeah, no, so would I. Yeah, there's a space for it. There's a market for it. It's just I don't think anyone's made it yet.
Well,
You
it's
know?
crazy because like at this point, like Naruto reruns are like keeping the lights on at Netflix. Like it,
True.
it's crazy at how anime has like really taken over the like American zeitgeist, and like I issue a challenge for like American animators to like make something and not have it talk about being gay. Like challenge. Like I don't know what this preoccupation is. It's I think well like the Nani State friend of the show. He's like has he told me rather that I think it's like AbbVie pharmaceutical that goes and makes like hormone like HRT drugs, like finance like CalArts
Yeah.
like
Oh
animation
shit.
classes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to be.
No, I mean, because I mean, again, I'm not like I'm still just beginning my anime journey.
Mhm.
But I mean, I teach 8th grade English, and a lot of my students was like the students I have. It's like 90% Black and Latino,
Mhm.
and they're all into anime.
Yeah,
Like
hell yeah.
I there's some quick write I did with them that was like, what country would you want to visit and why? And all of them, Japan,
Let's
Tokyo.
go.
Like no, it was crazy. Like all of them, and I'm just like I have to know more about this if I'm gonna like relate to like younger generation, because like they're just all into anime. I mean, so I don't know. There is that influence, but then I worry about again, like, yeah, is it all just gay? Are they into like, are they in the gay anime? And I guarantee you, if I go to the LGBTQ club that's on
Yeah.
campus, and yes, there is one, they'll probably all be into anime. I guarantee.
Probably.
But there are different tiers, right? Like I think this is something
Oh, yeah.
that I've thought about a lot. Like
Oh yeah.
there's definitely anime that is coded for that flag, and then there is anime that has more traditional anime properties, we'll say.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and I do know that, but it's like I'm worried about which ones are gaining more mainstream acceptance, I guess.
I think it's
You
very
know.
funny that
Yeah.
being a teacher, you need to know who Vegeta is.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, at least I know who Goku is. I know the Pokemon stuff. Like, I mean, for me, but yeah, it's definitely getting to the point where it's like, yeah, I have students talking about anime to me or asking me about anime stuff all the time. And sometimes I'm like, I got no clue.
Yeah, I mean my hobby horse is that I think that anime is like literally the best like examples of like male role models that
Mhm.
like are like presented to young guys now. Like I going back to what you were saying about like the LGBT club also being into anime, like it's like the Japan is allowed to make things for both girls and boys, but like
Mhm.
separate. Like this is the guy stuff and this is the girl stuff. Over here we just make the like everything slop that like
Mhm.
you're supposed to pretend is good because it has good politics or whatever. Like I it's so much of like the clumsiness of like the Roadhouse like relaunch is that like it's very clumsily describing like what masculinity is, and things like heavy metal and like I don't know, the being like an awkward 14-year-old and like watching Naruto, like these are very like authentic expressions of like what like being like a young guy is about. And I think like giving expression to this is something that like has been stifled with the like with the pro woman like bent to everything.
Mhm.
That I don't know, it just sucks that like we're the obviously like Craig Zoller and like other really cool directors out there are like still pushing for it, but it would be nice to have like dudes rock movies back, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the dudes rock stuff is like it's like a very masculine character, but there is also a side of him that like acknowledges their faults, or
Oh yeah.
and I think that's what's part of it. And I mean, I think that's something that I just don't see why, a masculine man who also acknowledges their faults can't appeal to women. But apparently it's having a hard time. I mean, I think Craig Zoller does a great job of that. I mean, I even think like Heavy Metal did a great job of that. Like, just especially with like the Den segment, the second segment on there, did a great job. I just don't think it's something you see too much nowadays. It's not. It can't be just a man acknowledging their faults. They have to become feminized. They have to. They like. Yeah, it's not just a man who's like, well, like this is going on, that's going on. Like my life is shit because of that. But I know why. Like the Harry Canyon character, like it can't be that. It has to be someone who is like, finding out why they're an anti-racist or like. It's the different type of faults that men have to recognize nowadays.
I was actually thinking when you were saying that about Bruce Willis's character from The Fifth Element, and just like how he was, and his characters always was like he never really played a cucked character. I can't think of any, but I just think that that's interesting, looking at like this kind of landscape of Mobius and pulp fiction and science fiction, and then how the characters definitely, they were the last standouts, you could say, the last standouts for the masculine archetype, I think. And and before, obviously, if you guys have both set a date, so we'll say like in the 2010s, and I think that that's actually interesting that genre film can sort of resist some of the, we'll say, mainstream sort of political culture, that pressure. But then at the same time, genre film is also the most likely to incorporate it. So I think it's kind of an interesting paradox of like genre. It's that it both is like tranny capitalism, if you want to call it that. And then it can have that classic like masculine archetype.
Yeah, I mean, because you can create your own landscape. You can create your own world. So you can mold the story, like whatever story you want to create, you can mold the world around that. And I think that's like one of the reasons why like sci-fi can like be the like some weird like pro like everyone's trans tale, or it can be some Ursula Le Guin type like libertarian.
It can be Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, it can be anything you want.
Right.
So I think that's why there's just that's why there's just kind of that battle, I think, ideologically in genre fiction. Whereas if you're just you have your characters in the real world, there's different rules you have to abide by. If you make your own world, it's your own rules. Yeah, you can just write your novel or your screenplay that way.
That was really well said, and I think this is a great place to call it. But I also want to ask both of you to give, before you plug, give a series, or I know Monty's like a huge manga guy and reads tons of manga, and I'll give something too, but give something that you recommend for people that you're interested in right now. Like, if you're reading something, if you're watching something, what is it right now that you're interested in?
Well, we just most recently talked about Bleach, and 1,000-Year Blood War is coming back October 5th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what's going on right now. Very excited.
Me, oh, wow. Okay, so I what I watch is like a lot of like weird like Tubi like noirs, just like a lot of stuff on Tubi. So I'm plugging Tubi because Tubi is awesome. It's free. It has awesome movies, weird TV shows, everything. It's just great.
It's for the people.
It is. It is. I don't understand how it's still free, but it is. like it's better than Criterion Channel. It's better than anything. Yeah, it's better than Netflix, HBO. Just Tubi. The series I've been watching, honestly, it's I've been rewatching Like again,
Sick.
yeah, it's not animated. I know, but yeah, that's what I've been into. Just because like I grew up around that area, and there is this kind of like now looking back on it, like it's just there is this nostalgia for like it was a class that I never like really grew up in, right? Like I wasn't really like from like that community that they're in, but I grew up near there, so there's some sort of nostalgia for that area, and I've been rewatching it, been enjoying it, and I think if someone's interested in like nighttime soap opera type stuff, OC is great. So that's what I've been watching, and as far as what I've been reading, I'm about to crack into Jared Klickstein's Crooked Smile.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh.
Yeah, shout out Jared Klickstein. He's awesome.
The man.
And I just finished Congo by Michael Crichton, and that's it.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
yeah,
Fuck yeah.
that's what I'd recommend.
Okay, well, I'm obviously, I think both of you know this, that I'm really deep into common writer territory at this point.
Let's
from
go.
someone, from a friend of the show. So I'm on my last, like I'll say maybe 7 or 8 episodes of Common Writer 5s or 555. And so that's what I recommend. I think I've watched a few Japanese, like the Transformation series and Rangers as well as Sentai. But this one, I have to say, is by far the best thing. It's by far the best that I've personally watched. And I like the vintage ones because my dad liked the vintage ones. I'm into 90s dystopian now. So
where are you watching it on?
I'm watching it on the Internet Archive, but there's also 2 other free sites. Just people just Google Watch Common Writer and they will come up. I think it's like Tokaj and Tokuzilla.
Okay, all right. So just Common Writer and it'll come up.
Yeah, and then you can like choose from the list, and there's not just Common Writer. There's Garo, there's all the Sentai series. I mean, I think there's a lot of content. People like are wanting content. There's a lot that like I know that I haven't even watched. So, but I like that you brought up OC. That was very unexpected and also
That's
really
awesome.
interesting. Yeah, I agree. And I remember Marissa driving her Range Rover like into the water.
Yeah.
So it's very classic, and everybody for at least one season was really captivated by that.
Yeah, and also like I love that like no one from that show really became a star. I mean, Peter Gallagher was already a star, but like Misha Barton did like a movie or 2, and like Adam Brody was in like I don't know, maybe he did a movie. I have no idea, but like no one. It's just you don't really hear from any of those actors anymore, and it's kind of like nice to look back on that time where it's just like, these were like the hottest stars for like a year or 2.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. And I honestly, I had hoped for Adam Brody because I actually found him funny. I always would find him very amusing. He's like he had good timing, but unfortunate for all of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let both of you plug, and thank you so much. I really appreciate this for coming on and doing this kind of like put together show on a topic that I think the 3 of us weren't sure of, but then I really enjoyed it. So thank you.
Follow me on Twitter, Montgomery Carlo. I'm sure Jen will link it. I host a podcast called Nice. Please listen to some of our back catalog. Who knows what the future holds? But yeah, keep listening to Threshold Saints. There's also the book club going on. There's a lot going on in this space, and be there or be square.
Honestly, thank you, Monty. Monty will be reoccurring on this show as much as he wants, so or as little. I mean, there's no pressure, but I hope he comes back.
Please and thank you.
No, Monty's always great on the show. I've loved the occultism and anime series that you guys got going.
Sure.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. And Organize Me, do you want to shout out? I know you shout out your Rare Candy episode. It was really good, and I'll include as many links as I can. But if you have any other episodes that you've done that you're proud of, or whatever that you think are topical or relevant, shout them out.
Yeah, the Rare Candy Game of Fiction, the Heavy Board Robinson Crusoe episode was great. And also the 2 Tales from the Mall. There's one just with me talking about my life and random stuff with Brendan. That was great. And also one with me and Andrew Winstead talking about Shoot the Piano Player, the film and the book in a Tales from the Mall After Dark episode. So that was really great.
Let's go.
Yeah. So check those out. But other than that, yeah, just Twitter, Organized Meat at Bazillion Plus. Send me pictures of your cats. Pictures of your cats are great. I'll retweet any cat I get.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, both. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. This was a pleasure. This was great, man. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. And everybody have a great weekend and a good night.
All right, you too, man.
Good night, everybody.
夢見ることもすべて